Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry. Today is going to be kind of an interesting job because I don't run into this kind of a carpet all that often. And I'm going down these two hallways in this open area right here. And now I got a set of stairs to do. And you're going to go over here, little alcove or whatever, and then into the bedroom, around the furniture. And this is a wool berber, and I don't run into these too often, but so I thought it'd be interesting to show this. And as you can see, we've got a problem right here. And what's happened is this owner has two large dogs. One is 88 pounds, the other one is 140, and they're in and all over the carpet, of course. And overall, the carpet is actually doing really well. It's about 8 years old. So it's actually not in bad shape considering. But what's going on right here is one of the dogs had an accident here. I can't remember whether he said it was urine or poop. I can't remember now. He just said it went on the carpet, but a couple of things have happened on the carpet. You can certainly see that there's been some color loss, and I'll show you why in a sec. But you can also see the pile is really damaged here. So somebody would have went to town using a brush trying to give it a real hard scrubbing. And you've got to be aware of what the limitations are of what you're doing. And it's not that you can't put a brush on wool. You certainly can, but there's brushes and then there's brushes. And sometimes people can get too aggressive. And then the other thing is that the urine has ammonia in it, which will weaken the fibres. And on top of that, here's the other problem. This is what he used. And although this is an okay product for synthetic rugs, when you turn it over, right above my thumb, can you read that? Let me see. I'll go over here. Let me get into the light here. What does it say right there? It says, test a hidden area of carpet being cleaned for color fastness. Do not use on wool, leather, or silk. So why wouldn't you use this on wool? There's two reasons. One, these products typically have enzymes in them, and wool is a natural protein-based fiber, and the enzymes will break down the bonds between the wool is actually in segments, and because that's the way it grows. If you take a look at a wool fiber under a microscope, it looks like little, it kind of looks like a plant actually. But anyway, it grows in segments, and there's the bonds between in the wool yarn can be broken down by the peroxide that's in there, as well as the enzyme. Now, there's actually another thing you can do to really screw up a wool, and that is to clean it with ammonia. And I'm aware that there are some people out there that are promoting the use of ammonia, and they'll even use ammonia on wool. And besides the health issues, and by the way, if you're a new carpet cleaner and you're wondering what is the best kind of cleaning products to use, you need to be aware that just because somebody has a bunch of videos on YouTube doesn't make them an expert in anything. And when they're promoting very unhealthy things in their videos all the time, they're being very irresponsible, because we all know as professional carpet cleaners that things like ammonia, to be inhaling it on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis over time has a very detrimental effect upon the human body. Not only that, but to go into your customer's house and be spraying copious amounts of things like ammonia and mixing it with peroxide and industrial degreasers is very unhealthy for you and even for your customer. And I addressed that in a video not too long ago, 2 or 3 videos ago, because it is a real concern, because the first thing we need to be sure of is that we're using safe products. And we need to be very responsible when we go into people's houses to have a very proper attitude about these things. Anyway, one thing you can use for dealing with urine stains on wool is vinegar and even citric acid, which you can buy in. You can actually buy it online, or you can buy it. Janitorial stores sell it because they use it as a neutralizer when they're stripping. Janitors are stripping floors. They'll be using something, rather alkaline. Pardon me. And that looks pretty good already. And they have to neutralize the floor with an acid rinse, and so you can buy these little packets of citric acid, and one packet, which usually costs between 50 cents to $1 each, I think, the last time I bought them. Very, very inexpensive. But one packet will actually make 5 gallons ready to use. So it goes a very long way, and you can use it for other things as well. It's just actually pretty darn good spotter, actually. And of course, completely safe. Citric acid is basically vitamin C. I guess there's different versions of it, but anyway, it's a safe thing. Anyway, now, in case you're wondering, what am I doing here? I'm actually using a white fiber pad. Before you sort of fall off your chair, you need to know that wool is actually very resilient, normally speaking. And the white fiber pad is actually completely safe on wool, but generally, if I run across a carpet like this, the fiber pad that I will choose will be one that's already been used and broken in it, because when they first start using them, they definitely have more bite than once they sort of, after you've used them for got a few hours on them, then they still work very well, but they don't have quite as much bite. So I'm using one that has been used a little bit, and so I'm going to give the carpet a scrub, and you can see these. Yeah, the wool actually does that to me. It makes me cough for some reason, the odor, because I'm smelling the wet wool now. Kind of gives me a bit of a irritation, I guess. After many years of breathing lots of dust, I think I'm just a little bit sensitive to things like that. So, no, I did pre-vacuum, and by the way, actually, I'll show you what I picked up in the area that I vacuumed, because you're probably curious. Hang on a sec. Put that up right. Can you see? Where are we? Right there. Right there. Isn't that amazing? And apparently the house cleaner vacuumed everything yesterday with their Dyson. Gee, isn't that a surprise? Anyway, the workhorse does it again. So this is one of my sort of a general purpose spotter here. It's a water-based. It's actually a water-based cleaning product in its own right, and I find it mixing up strong works pretty well as a spotter. It's called All Rug, made by Search. It actually contains an anti-allergen as well, although that's not why I use it. I use it because I find it works really well, and it's inexpensive. So this customer is actually intending to replace this carpet this summer, so he wasn't expecting or demanding, I guess you could say, maybe, that I make this look perfect, but I did warn him that the color has been removed out of this spot right here, although it's actually looking pretty good. I'm a little surprised at what I'm seeing. I actually did spray that with citric acid. I didn't soak it, but I certainly did get it, I got it pretty good. I didn't go too crazy with it, though. But it's actually looking pretty darn even right now. Notice how nice my light is. Isn't that great? That's that upgraded light that I put on a couple weeks ago. And boy, is it nice to be able to see such a nice help. Because we get into places sometimes where there just isn't any light. And having that light sure does help. Well, actually, that's pretty amazing. You know, I'm not going to get perfection here, but that's looking not bad. It looks actually better to my eye than it does in the camera. Shows it up a little bit more, but and of course this is just the first step. So anyway, that's very encouraging. And I'm cleaning with Nanomax at 1 ounce per gallon. And of course there's CO2 in the water as well, which is going to be helping to deal with any organic stains. Although I have a bottle in my tank. See? Look at that. I got a bottle of CO2 and another spotter right there. And a couple of other things in there. So I can carry stuff right where when I need it. I can just pull it out of there. So I'm just taking it easy. I find that the wool berbers usually clean up very well. But the white fiber pad definitely is very effective on the wool. I even use this on wool area rug sometimes, although I generally will go to the brush. But this works really, really well. So don't be afraid to put a white fiber pad on a wool berber carpet. But as I mentioned, if there is any, if you're concerned at all, then just make sure that you are using one that you've already used on other carpets, so it's broken in a little bit. I've got a stain up there that I pre-treated, so we'll see what happens when I get there. There's a slight mark right there. Give it a bit of a shot. Done. This is a maybe when I get back to the other end, I'll show you where we're at here. But this is a house right on the lake in a very expensive area of Kelowna. This house to be worth millions. It's a very nice house. This is the kind of jobs that I do all the time. Okay, did that stain come out? It did. Isn't that nice? Nice and simple. Okay. I'm going to turn around and head back down. See, there's the lake there. He's got a dock there, of course. So this is where the bleached out spot is, and it really is actually not looking bad. I'm actually a little surprised that it's doing as well as it appears to be, which is always good. I like nice surprises. But you can see where the pile is distorted there from where they were brushing it so aggressively. Actually, this whole area looks pretty... you can see the yarn is broken. A lot of broken fibers sticking out of the carpet there, but the dogs, apparently they race around in here. And they like to They're flying around the corner, and their pads and their claws, of course, will dig into the carpet. And a 140-pound dog, there's a lot of can do a lot of destruction with those pads. I'm not sure what that stain is there. That actually looks like a rust stain, or maybe a furniture stain. We'll try something else on that in a minute. Yeah, I think he's going to be really happy with the way this turns out. He already replaced the two landings down there. A couple of years ago, he told me they were just so shot. And they're already looking pretty deteriorated where the dogs come flying around the corner there. That tickle again. I'm just thinking that spot right there, actually it might be a burn. It kind of looks like a burn. It looks like someone tried to get at it with something too. So I'll ask the customer what it is, if he knows. So far, all the stains are coming out. Isn't that nice? I think some of the houses along this area are worth like 4 million and up. Pretty amazing the value of some of these houses. It's kind of funny in a way, because 30-40 years ago or so, most of these houses where these houses are sitting now, people would have had little cabins along the lake, and never really thought much of them, as far as they were just kind of went there for the summer or whatever. And then as the people's view on property and the value of view and lakefront and all that changed, then these properties started going up crazy amounts. But that's where we're at these days. Once upon a time, people would never buy or try to avoid buying the houses up on the hills, because you can't farm that. That's different now. The value is in the view. That's a good slogan, eh? The value is in the view. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I went over that and nothing happened. Usually the stain will start to disappear almost immediately. So that one, nothing happened. So that's something unusual. Because I did pre-treat that. So that suggests that we're dealing with something that could be a color added stain or an oil. And I don't think it looks like an oil, because even an oil would at least move a little bit, because I have pre-treated it. So I'm thinking about it. Can't go in there. I'm only doing the traffic areas in this room. Well, we're going to try something else in a sec. Looks like I got those ones out, so that's good. We'll do a quick zip in here. Oh, I forgot to mention something. This is particularly for for those of you who are new into carpet cleaning and are watching these videos to gain knowledge and see how some of us older guys are doing things and trying to up your game. I do have a bit of advice for you that will help you to learn, and that is that there are some Facebook pages that are dedicated to carpet cleaners, particularly to VLM cleaners, or at least do have a good forum where VLM is respected and people are encouraging and helping one another. And rather than simply watching YouTube videos, which does help, what will help you even more is to join up with, come onto these Facebook pages, because there you will be able to actually communicate directly with carpet cleaners. Many very experienced, knowledgeable, and you'll find on these Facebook pages that the vast majority of carpet cleaners do have a very high standard, and they won't be giving you bad advice, such as using unsafe cleaning products. And oh, by the way, I'm trying citric acid, and they're going to be giving you guidance for the most effective performance, but certainly not going to be telling you that using things like ammonia and peroxide and industrial degreasers is something that you should be doing, because you shouldn't be. And there's lots of reasons for that, and I did address that in my video where I talked about ammonia and peroxide. I posted that a couple of weeks ago, I think a week ago. Anyway, one of the Facebook pages would be low moisture carpet cleaners, and let's see, another one is Pad Life for all things VLM. That's the one that is sponsored by and run by Damon at the End Cap store, who sell great products. And this is, you're going to get real professional cleaning products and safe for you and your customers. And the other one is Encapsulation World, which is the one which is run by Bonnet Pro, which is another place where you get great products. And the other one is Tim Yeater's The Carpet Professors page. I think that's what it's called. But if you're a new carpet cleaner and you're wanting to learn, there you can really learn, because you can ask questions and you'll get feedback from many carpet cleaners. And That's where you're going to really get the learning will really happen when you're getting the perspective from other carpet cleaners who are actually professionals at this and would never recommend you use something that's unsafe, like some of these YouTube channels are doing. And it's interesting that these particular guys would will never come onto these Facebook pages because they would just simply be they're just recognized as not being even credible at what they do, and so no, they couldn't do that, and that's a sign of what's really going on. And by the way, this is working. So the citric acid. So I went acid on the pH side by using the citric acid, and then I used my general spotter, which, because I put the citric acid on there, put it on the acid side, and I'm doing a little extra scrubbing, and it's working. And by the way, as you see, I'm going back and forth. There's no sign of any pile distortion going on, even though I'm using a fiber pad. And I'm going to let's see, I'm going to go do that again. We're going to citric acid right on the spot. I can still see it there just slightly. I'm slightly healing, and I'm going to, now there's the all rug. Okay, I think I've done about as much as I can do with that. It does look an awful lot better. I can still see it faintly, but I think we're okay. So we'll go back to where I began. You still with me? Okay, now. And again, here was where that big blotchy that was, and it's pretty much gone. Slightly visible, but not quite. Certainly certainly an acceptable result right now, I would say, for sure. In case you're wondering what I just did, I just actually purposefully ran over there to clean off my tires, so when I go down the steps I don't make a mark, because I never actually cleaned them when I came up here. Okay, let's have a look. So I did get a little bit of transfer, not too much. Alrighty, let me get this out of the way here. All right, here we go. I'm just feeding down a little bit at the moment. Wool tends to, it will absorb a lot of moisture, so definitely want to be careful not to run dry. And but that's working. I'm just putting a little bit down. Man, that looks good. Like, wow. I'm actually surprised. But wool can be amazingly resilient, I'm telling you. The only real problem is going to be that weird thing over there. This guy won't have to replace his carpet this year after all. There was a couple of marks over here, and they're completely gone. I love it when a plan comes together. The A-team. It's probably before most of you guys. Anyway, looking good. But you can sure see the pile distortion. It looks kind of all furry in here. That's because the dogs, this is where they spin around the corner. And it really is tearing up the carpet fibers. The pads themselves on a dog are, assuming the dog is getting out and, outside, but they can be quite hard and calloused. And between that and the claws, they really kind of tear at the carpet yarn. There's some kind of a mastiff. He said the name of them, but I don't recognize the name. But at 140 pounds, I guess it would have to be. Apparently very, very, very protective of the little girl that lives. If it was a little girl who must be, maybe, I bet she's like 8 or 9 years old, but he told me that 140-pound dog is very, very protective of her. That's wonderful to have a dog that's so loyal and understands his role as a protector, because nobody's gonna mess around with that little girl when that dog's around. That ain't gonna happen. This carpet is definitely looking really good. Very even. I will groom it. I will vacuum it afterwards, because there is a little bit of almost a peach fuzzy, especially right here. You can really see it happening right here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's really very fuzzy looking compared to over here, and almost a It really seems to be only in this area. It's not over there or down the hall. So just in here. We're going to try citric acid on there. You can see somebody did try to work at this one. That's really fuzzed right there too. I'll let it sit for a minute and I'll come back to it. Okay, let's go see what happens here. I don't think it's rust. Yeah, I don't think that's rust. That looks like a furniture stain. Even citric acid actually will often take rust out. If it's a furniture stain, I won't be getting it out anyway. It doesn't look like rust. Oh well. He's going to be very thrilled with the way this carpet turns out, though. It really is looking very good overall. Now, a little tip for those of you who are using the tank, especially those who are new to the tank. Bear in mind that when you're using the tank and you're cleaning away like this, and you suddenly feel your machine sort of binding or bogging, that's because you're running too dry and you need to immediately add some more solution. So that's one of the nice things about using the tank, is you're able to be much more precise in your application of solution. You'll be able to apply just enough, but not too much. And if you're not getting enough, it's running too dry, then you'll be able to immediately respond by adding a little bit of solution. Very precise control. That's why the shower feed is such a good idea. So there's where that spot was. You can see it's a bit damper there, but otherwise it's almost 100% gone. So that's pretty darn impressive. I was a bit surprised that the citric acid works so well, but that's just the way it works sometimes. Move the clock. And in the closet, quick zip. Oh yeah. Okay, back to the beginning. Top of the stairs, because I'm done, aren't I? Isn't that amazing? Okay. So, everybody wants to know, what's the pad look like? Actually, not that bad. Actually. But the carpet looks great. Okay, well, I'm going to turn off the video here. Hope that it was helpful to you guys, and isn't that amazing? That's where the bleached out spot looked. I guess it was mostly just clean, but I think when I vacuum it, I bet you there's going to be a little bit of a bleaching out that would have happened from the peroxide, which again is why we don't want to use peroxide on a wool carpet. So anyway, hope that helps you out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day. Bye now.